You've probably heard people say sound and sample selection is way more important than mixing and mastering when it comes to the overall quality of your productions. And that's definitely true, but how do you make sure to pick the right sounds? Can be a bit tough sometimes, so I created a list with 10 tips that might help you in that process. Obviously, there are going to be many more tips than that, so make sure to put those in the comments. But now, let's go. So the first one is going to be kind of obvious, but still very important to mention. Tip number 1, you should pick your sounds with balance in mind. Of course, you can balance things out in the mixing and mastering stage, but it's difficult to just make certain frequency ranges appear out of thin air. So you really have to pick and combine the right samples to have all these different frequency ranges present and then work with them. So let's say we have a bass, kind of a dirty electric bass. We already have some sub and some bass and mid-range energy and even some high end, right? If we now throw in some tops, they obviously add up nicely. The high end is crisp and present. We have enough material here. We have some percussion in the mid-range, but we're kind of leaving space here. If we now bring in the kick is sitting below the bass, you know? I'm not throwing in another super punchy mid-rangey kick. It's kind of sitting below, subby and fat. But then we have this space here, right? So we can throw in some keys. Okay. In general, to get a nice balance, you have to have enough material in all the different ranges. So that was kind of the view from a kind of macro perspective. Let's look into something with a bit more detail. So we have this shaker, for example, in here. These are actually 2 shakers layered together. This is one of them. Kind of a bit high and grainy. And then this one is a bit more wide and noisy, right? And combined, they sound kind of nice and full. And the drums, for the drums, I kind of used this groove loop right here, which sounds really cool. Already has a lot of stuff in there. So we're kind of adding this nice, like crispy high end, but it sounded a bit thin. And I really like to kind of fill that up with these shakers. Subtle, but like this, you can select your sounds to sound fuller and kind of fill in these different frequency ranges. Which brings me directly to tip number 2. Balance is not just about frequencies. Of course, you want a nicely balanced out frequency spectrum, but there are also other things where focusing on balance makes a lot of sense. For example, when it comes to velocity or volume, you want to have some loud sounds and you want to have some quiet ones and everything in between. So you have to find a good balance between like your main elements and kind of stuff that's sitting back, creating some atmosphere. If you think of the stereo image, you want to have a nice balance between left and right and center, kind of placing things close or far. But even if you think of character or textures and things like that, you want to have some sounds which stand out and sound special and interesting, and some sounds which are kind of basic and do their job. They should still sound good, but if everything sounds super special and crazy, might even take away from the attention that you can spend to a certain element, right? So some things are supposed to poke out and be special, and other things have to be a bit different. Something that I like to show for this, it's a very clear example. Let's go back to the shaker. So the shaker, it's kind of noisy and spread out, right? If you compare that with a tambourine has a different texture. It kind of has these resonant frequencies which make it sound metallic and poke out in a way. And here I've actually panned one tambourine left and one right, which is cool. And together with the shaker, you can hear them nicely because they're panned out. They also have a different texture and character. So you're balancing things out in that way. Which brings me to tip number 3. Get your priorities straight. There are certain elements that matter more than others. And when it comes to club music, you should really get your kick, bass, clap, and hi-hat to be nice and work really well. So I would pay more attention to picking good sounds there. And then the other stuff can be all right. If the mid-rangey stuff is a bit distorted, sounds a bit weird, that's all okay. If you have a nice solid skeleton, you can build like a nice body around that. Which takes us straight to tip number 4. Use visuals if you need to. Bass drums are kind of tricky. Figuring out which ones work in the club and which doesn't is difficult if you have a setup with just normal headphones or you don't have speakers that go low enough. But visuals really help. So I can recommend to check out the waveform. A good kick drum is supposed to look nice and solid and not like a old dry Christmas tree. And then You can also look at other visuals, and usually for the frequency spectrum I use Voxengo span, and then for waveforms I oftentimes use scope, which you can also trial for as long as you want, so they're both basically free. So the next one is kind of a double tip. Tip number 5, pick sounds that you can control. Doesn't matter if you have a synth sound or samples and stuff like that. It's nice to be able to shape the sounds quite a bit. So if you're using a preset and you understand what to do in order to kind of shape the sound, for example, open up the filter in a synthesizer or things like that, you can control the sounds quite nicely, and that can sometimes be more effective to tweak the sounds to the way you need them to be than in mixing later. But even when it's about samples, I like to think subtractive. Let's say we have one snare here. We're kind of missing this high end. I would rather pick a snare that has some high end and take out the high end instead of having one and then being like, oh, it needs some high end, how do I distort it? If you think subtractive and start with an element that gives you more options, if I have more info in there, more detail, I can always reduce that detail. Tip number 6, transients are really, really important. Often when I listen to the productions of beginners and give some feedbacks and things like that, I realize that people are not taking enough care of the transients. But oftentimes, this is where a lot of the definition and clarity of a certain sound comes, and where you have to prioritize as well. Be careful with the transients of drums, hi-hats especially, and things like that, and percussions, because hi-hats and percussions like congas will oftentimes have very similar frequencies present and very similar envelopes in their transient, and you kind of have to sort that out and prioritize. Tip number 7, be aware of your level. If you have all these different elements floating around, it's going to be difficult sometimes to bring that together and find a nice balance. And the more elements you have, and for the more complicated type of production you go, the tougher it will be to balance that out. So if you're starting out, there's no shame in using a type of arrangement or going for a type of track which is a bit easier. If you do any sport or you practice any instrument, usually you do something that's kind of feasible or possible for a beginner or intermediate person. And in productions, people are oftentimes reaching for the stars and kind of getting ahead of themselves. It's nice to have an overview of what your capabilities are and what type of track might be a bit easier to handle according to your level. Tip number 8, don't look for samples while you're producing. I think browsing your library is a big creative killer. It's kind of like if you're cooking and you have to go back to the supermarket because you're missing an ingredient. It's kind of a bummer and usually doesn't work out that well. So try to make some sessions where you have enough sounds ready that you can make a track with that. And then obviously, eventually you might go back to your library, but try to do that as little as possible. Which brings us straight to tip number 9. Use what you already have and turn it into more. Oftentimes it's very easy to turn the sounds that you already have into something else using some effects and stuff like that. And you can get very creative, and it's usually quite quick, and it's going to be nice and coherent and work well. And it's a cool way to, instead of looking for new sounds, to recycle what you already have into something new. Tip number 10, try to create some of your own sounds. I know you might not be a pro sound designer, but these days with all these different tools out there are many ways where you can experiment a bit and come up with some cool sounds which are not that easy to copy. So I always recommend start your own sample library and put some sounds in there which you liked and then use them as your own. And lastly, little bonus tip, of course, I create some samples myself as well, and you can find some of them in my sample shop. The link is in the description. I'd appreciate it if you check it out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Ciao.